Anyone who comes to Korea will notice there's a coffee shop on every corner. While Koreans meet, work, and play in their coffee shops, they really love their daily cup of joe. Dr. Yoon Oh-soon is a coffee lover herself, but especially of Ethiopian coffee. As the founder and CEO of Beletu, she runs a coffee platform for Ethiopian coffee. But beyond promoting Ethiopian coffee, she has set her sights on fostering a more positive image of Ethiopian and African culture in Korea, and in the process, offer some of the best coffee you'll ever taste in Korea. Our globalist today is the coffee diplomat of Ethiopia, Dr. Yoon Oh-soon. Dr. Yoon, welcome to the Globalists.
Thank you so much. 기존에 나는 그냥 에티오피아 커피 맛있지 이런 분들한테 새로운 에티오피아 커피 많이 소개하면서 에티오피아 커피를 좀 더 많이 소비할 수 있도록 그런 활동을 올해부터 정말 많이 하려고 하거든요.
You are the founder and CEO of the Ethiopian coffee platform Beletu. So tell us more about that platform. What can you find and who is it for?
The name of Beletu comes from Beletu. When I started my research activity in Ethiopia, one old Ethiopian man made that nickname Beletu.
Does that name have a meaning?
The Beletu meaning is greater than everyone, greater than everything, the best of the best. The shortened form is Beletu.
Beletu.
So everybody call me Beletu in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Now it became my company name, business name.
Oh, so you've named your company after yourself, the Ethiopian name that you got.
It's my identity.
Oh, wonderful. So what is available on the platform?
Near Magok Station, there is actually the small lab, coffee lab. Before I started this coffee business, I taught students in universities and conducted research in academia. And then during pandemic, I couldn't travel to Ethiopia. I decided to do something like what I can at that moment. I established my own company specializing in Ethiopia coffee.
I see. So the platform was started during the pandemic.
Yes.
So it's very, very young.
It's around 4 years.
Oh, I see. So on that platform, you have Ethiopian coffee that is available for Korean vendors, Korean coffee shops?
Currently, the business scale is very small, especially based on roasted bean business is very small scale because I wasn't active. I more focus on green bean. Green bean means raw bean, like a container scale. I do those businesses.
Wow, that's a large business. So I'm very curious to hear about your other activities in Ethiopia, but let's talk a little bit about Ethiopian coffee first. So what is unique about Ethiopian coffee?
Jokingly, I jokingly speak to people. There are only two types of coffee. Ethiopia coffee and the rest.
Oh, really? Wow.
Ethiopia is the birthplace of Arabica coffee. There are two significant coffee varieties commercially. One is Robusta coffee, the other is Arabica coffee. Robusta coffee started from like different countries, like Western Africa and some like Uganda, East African. But
is that the name of the bean?
The variety.
Variety of bean.
The Arabica coffee started from Ethiopia.
It's strange that it's called Arabica coffee, but it started in Ethiopia. You would think it had started in the Middle East.
Yeah, so Ethiopia people complain a lot. Researchers, why they put the name, not Abyssinia coffee or Ethiopian coffee.
Well, okay, but we have learned a new fact that even though they say Arabican coffee, it is actually Ethiopian coffee. You know? I know that coffee, people love Ethiopian coffee and Arabica coffee. We brought some aspects of the Ethiopian coffee culture with you here. What are some of the cultural aspects of Ethiopian coffee that you thought would be something that Koreans would appreciate?
Today I brought this when Asian people enjoy their tea while doing some tea ceremony. Ethiopians enjoy coffee ceremony when they drink coffee. They cultivated coffee for long years, and they enjoy coffee also long years with this kind of culture. So we call this jebena, it's black pot. It's handmade.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful. This is actually the brewing tool for Ethiopian traditional coffee ceremony. They use this still. You've heard Turkish coffee?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is similar brewing tool. This is Ethiopian coffee brewing tours.
Yeah. I mean, you don't normally think about a brewing ceremony when you think about coffee. I mean, you sort of expect it to come out of a machine and directly into your cup. Or in Korea, actually, you come out of a little packet, the mixed coffee, the little mixed coffees. It's sort of instant coffee is what we think about. But this is a new aspect of coffee for Koreans. How did Koreans react to this kind of cultural knowledge?
Not only Korean, actually. Whenever I involve some coffee-related event, I brought this with the Ethiopian lady. Ethiopian lady conduct a coffee ceremony. It takes around 1:30 or 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, so they really enjoy coffee. The half of coffee production consumed inside Ethiopia. Only this country. There are over 80 coffee producing countries, but not like Ethiopia. So they enjoy coffee through this coffee ceremony. We call the seni. Seni means small China. So I have conducted this research for long years.
Wow.
Ethiopian people, with full of pride, this is our own culture. But actually, the connected between the Red Sea. So this, they cannot produce, actually. So I wondered, before this cup arrived in Ethiopia, how they enjoy coffee.
Yeah.
So I visited Kaffa. For my field research during my PhD project. And then I found that they rigged coffee, the grounded coffee, before brewing this type of coffee.
Oh. This has a little bit of an Asian feel to it.
Yes, I think connected culture.
How big is the coffee connoisseur of Ethiopian coffee in Korea?
If people like a cafe owner said, we produce a really high quality coffee. Those coffee, definitely you can find Ethiopia coffee.
Ah, I see. So that's what they think of when they say it's high quality coffee.
Ethiopia coffee, simply delicious.
Oh.
You just before asked me like a uniqueness of Ethiopia coffee, like simply delicious. expensive compared to other single origin areas. Delicious. It's, I think, most important because this is a food, part of food. So tasty. That is very important.
So you describe it like you would describe food.
Yeah.
Delicious.
We express drink coffee, right?
Yep.
But some places in Ethiopia, they eat coffee.
Eat coffee as in
Food.
food. But it's a drink, is it not?
I think this is bias because when I visit one local area in South Korea, they produce alcohol.
Yeah.
The name is Hwacheon. Usually we think alcohol is just a drink.
Yeah.
But Hwacheon, you have to use a spoon. I was very surprised. They eat alcohol,
I see.
not drink. It's like that.
The other aspect is that, we think of alcohol as something that only adults or only, you enjoy in a certain period. But like alcohol, then coffee is enjoyed by everybody, even children and old, everyone is
Ethiopia.
in Ethiopia.
Yeah, even the women who has pregnant.
Pregnant women, it's part of their food.
Yeah, their life.
I see.
Not only the only bean, they eat whole part of coffee, coffee tree, coffee leaves, and then the cover we call like parchment. Then they make tea with the parchment.
So Koreans still have a lot to learn about Ethiopian coffee.
Unknown word.
Korea as a market is a huge market in Asia.
Very important market for Ethiopians. Actually, connected to historically between Ethiopia and South Korea during Korean War.
Yeah.
The Ethiopia government dispatched 6,037 soldiers. First, they don't have sea, landlocked country. So they went to Djibouti, and then from Djibouti, they sailed to Busan. And then now Ethiopia coffee also comes those routes.
So it's the same route that the Ethiopian soldiers came when they wanted to help Korea during the Korean War.
Yes, and now they support the Koreans' high quality Ethiopian coffee. Same route.
Yeah. That's a very, very important connection. Ethiopia and Korea have this very, very unique relationship. But how did your relationship with Ethiopia start? You talked a little bit about it, but tell us the story. I mean, what actually got you to Ethiopia?
I was a letter translator voluntarily for one international NGO. I didn't need to go to their place. They sent letters, and I translated for donator, the Korean donator, from English into Korean. I did 30 letters every week for 3 years. At that time, those letters are from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I became very, very interested in Ethiopian children, Ethiopian culture. I had a small dream. One day, I want to visit Ethiopia.
Ah, I see.
Whenever I encounter the Ethiopia issue, this is my destiny. I wanted to study about Ethiopia more seriously. And then I looked for many universities and then couldn't find a proper university in Korea. Then finally, I found some interesting course in Japan. So I did my master's in Japan and then moved to UK for my PhD.
Your master's and PhD was on Ethiopia?
Ethiopian coffee tourism. I was the
see.
#1 Ethiopian coffee tourism researcher.
So when did you actually get to Ethiopia?
Through that volunteer activity, and I met Ethiopians in Japan for my fellowship program, and then through those Ethiopian friends, I learned like a very small knowledge about Ethiopia culture or Ethiopia coffee. Then I could visit Ethiopia for a local government project, and I could travel Ethiopia for 3 months. Then I realized Ethiopia is not disaster country, not like full of negative
Hungry
image
people.
of like HIV, and then some like so many conflict. It's not full of disaster country. So I really wanna learn Ethiopia more.
Wow, so you are a doctor in Ethiopian coffee tourism.
Yes.
Oh, probably the first and maybe the only?
Not only now, but
the first, definitely.
Very long years, I was alone.
Oh, I see.
I couldn't find team, so it took a lot of time, but continued. So for Ethiopian people, I'm very strange foreigner. Mostly like people finished their academic degree, they didn't come back Ethiopia. But during master student, I came to Ethiopia. During PhD student, I came to Ethiopia. After I became professor, also I came to Ethiopia.
And now, with your platform, you must make visits to Ethiopia often. How many times do you go?
Except the pandemic, I couldn't travel Ethiopia, but from last year, I visited Ethiopia 5 months. And then this year also, last April, I visited, and then after 1 week, also I plan to visit.
You're going back.
Yes.
So you spend almost half the year in Ethiopia.
Yeah. So my second home is Ethiopia.
Let's talk about your first home, Korea. I mean, we talked about Ethiopia and Ethiopia coffee and Ethiopia coffee tourism, but you're also, and we talked very briefly about your relationship with Korea regional provinces, but you have orchestrated a lot of very, very successful festivals and activities with Korean regional provinces. Tell us about some of those.
I have involved in 화천산천어 festival.
화천산천어, what is that in English? I should know.
Mountain trout. I made actually.
Oh, really?
I made.
Oh,
Japanese, Chinese, English.
Wow.
I made when I was there.
So it's a mountain
Trout.
Mountain trout festival in Hwacheon.
But I prefer use the 산천어.
Okay, yeah. So that's the original Korean word.
When I visited Hwacheon, I realized they think this is just a local festival. But the program really, really interesting for me. So I want to promote this festival around the world, out of South Korea. Actively promoted. And then I made the name of festival, different languages, Chinese, Japanese, Korean.
I've heard that the Sancheoneo Festival is very unique because it happens in Gangwon-do. It's one of the most...
Near DMZ.
It's one of the most popular local festivals in Korea. But it's a festival, as you say, not done by the national government, but done by local people themselves.
With their resources, their own resources, water, human resources. So interesting. Now they introduce their hometown with the big pride. I come from Hwacheon. I think this is the power of culture, power of festival. So I wanted to do a similar thing in Ethiopia.
Oh, I see. Could there be a connection between Ethiopian local festivals and Korean local festivals?
There's some connection, but when I conducted the research about Ethiopia, I didn't think about with bigger portion. But the experiences in Hwacheon became really big part in my life. They complained that we have only like water and people.
Yeah.
What can you do? Always. But whenever I met Ethiopian who complained about their situation, I introduced Hwacheon Festival.
I see.
Like the YouTube video clips. Look.
This is what is possible.
Yes, very small population, area in South Korea, they did with the local peoples. Only the local peoples created this cultural festival. And then when I was there, like over 1.5 million something. Now the more, like over 2 million.
People come visit the festival.
Yeah, now
every year.
Yeah, they actively promote toward people who never seen ice or snow, like Southeast Asian something. So local government also actively promotes, but for me, it's very important life experiences.
Yeah. You are an expert in coffee tourism. Is it some of what you're trying to do in Ethiopia connected to the area of coffee tourism?
I have been research on coffee tourism for a long time, but when I found that the topic was very interesting. I visited Harare, northeastern part of Ethiopia, during my master's student. I got a scholarship from Japanese government, and I went there with a big plan. I wanted to start some small development project in Harare. Harare produces high quality coffee, but entire Harare city is designated by UNESCO World Heritage Site. So Harare has many interesting resources for development project for me, for outsider. But when I went there, and then I realized local people don't know about UNESCO, don't know about the value of the World Heritage. So I had to admit my research project failed. But I found the coffee. Okay. So for them, coffee is their part of life. And then they produce high quality coffee, and then they know about coffee very well. Of course, the perspective is different from the coffee consuming country people. But I wonder, how about tourism project with the coffee instead of World Heritage Site? Then I started coffee tourism research.
So then you were able to pinpoint what you talked about in terms of what the people can offer.
Yes.
Oh, that is interesting. So what is in the future for you? Will you be working with Ethiopia? You're going back to Ethiopia in a week.
Yeah.
Will you be working with them to promote this area of coffee tourism?
As a researcher, I have presented my research so many times, but commercially, I wasn't active to create coffee tourism product. But this year, I started actually. I conducted the experiment project with the Ethiopian, actually. Then I'm preparing for coffee tour programs with Dr. Yoon, coffee sector people, especially.
In Korea?
Not only Korea, because, through the social media activities, during my academic program, I was in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And then during harvest season, I could meet so many coffee experts from all around the world. So they know my activity, and then they know that I started the business, and then they know that I could develop this coffee tour program commercially.
Okay, so to describe to us what the coffee tour with Dr. Yoon is about. What do you see? What do you go? Where do you go?
Whenever I ask the people, like, I have visited Japan for coffee tour, so what did you do in Japan? They said they visit the famous cafes, and then they drink coffee, that's it. But I want to show them the behind the bar, responsible tourism concept. For example, like through this program, the interaction with the people in coffee sector, doesn't matter. They're from the coffee growing countries or coffee consuming countries, doesn't matter. But whenever we visited some places to enjoy coffee experiences, we need to meet people.
To know actually who the people are behind the growing and the serving and the providing of coffee. So your tour, coffee tour, will be going to coffee drinking, eating places, but also coffee growing places as well?
Yeah, of course. My research topic called just coffee tourism, but actually the beyond tourism. When I started the coffee tourism research, many Ethiopian people wonder, like, Beletu, who come to Ethiopia to see only this cherry? Because, in Ethiopia, we can see the coffee cherry everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like a rice in Asia.
Okay.
So, for Asian, the rice tourism is not big deal, right?
Yeah.
Not very interesting.
Come to see
right?
rice, yeah?
Yeah, the same. For Ethiopian, who come to Ethiopia to see just cherry and who pay money? but I persuade them. You know, we go to India for learning yoga because India is the birthplace of yoga, and then we visit UK for learning English. It's the birthplace. But why people visit Europe or America to learn coffee? You need to host people to your country. Because Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee, but you don't use your coffee fully. So coffee tourism, if really you succeeded in this field, Ethiopia doesn't need aid from outside. Ethiopia can independent financially. So my coffee tourism idea is not just to visit the farm or just a cafe like behind, and then we need to change our concept of coffee like beyond the beverage. Yeah. We need to think about the coffee as some cultural resources, and then you can see many new things.
Well, that sounds very, very exciting. And I wish you the best of success.
Thank you so much.
And that's it for us. I'll be back next week with another globalist who is putting Korea on the map. Sunji out.